Angel Reese declares for the WNBA draft. In this video, we are going to look at the impact on her, WNBA, and where she will be drafted, as well LSU and how it will affect their season next year. Before we start, if you like the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. All right, let's get into this. Now, I don't think many people are surprised that Angel Reese has declared for the WNBA draft. I think it was a fait accompli. Mulkey said it earlier in a press conference that she expected her to leave and sort of been saying that consistently for the most part of the year, as Angel said she'd be here for 2 years, and that's what she expected essentially. It was pretty clear after the loss to the Hawkeyes in the press conference that it had been a very emotional year for Angel Reese with ups and downs, and she had felt like she'd taken incoming from all corners. She was emotional during the press conference and crying. It was nice to see her teammates support her and say that she was a good teammate, but there's obviously that part of you that says she's worried about all the toxicity on the internet, but some of that social media hate came from Flau'jae Johnson's mom. So it was sort of drama they created in themselves. It has never been revealed why she was away from the team. Everybody has speculation, but it'll be interesting to see if somebody comes out and gives the definitive story on LSU and what transpired this season, as it would make a heck of a book, much like the Jordan Rules or Season on the Brink, as I imagine there was a lot of turmoil during the season that we don't know about. And it'll be fascinating to see if somebody comes on the record and says, yeah, this is what went down. In terms of the WNBA, that is one of the reasons I'm surprised that she didn't return, or a part of me wonders why she didn't return, because going to the WNBA, as I've outlined before, the contracts are not guaranteed. The conditions aren't great. You're flying commercial. At LSU, they were rock stars and sellout stadiums, and that is obviously not the case in the WNBA. It depends on what franchise you're with. And I understand some will argue with me and say she'll still maintain her same endorsements and make the same amount of money, but it's just a lot tougher gig in the WNBA, and it's unlikely at this stage of her career that she will be a star going in there. And then that ties into her draft status of where will she go and to what team and how far will she drop in the first round. I would think, looking at the WNBA draft, most people have obviously Caitlin Clark being the #1 draft pick. And then #2, the consensus seems to be that Cameron Brink will be drafted by the Los Angeles Sparks. As well, #3, it seems very, very likely that Chicago Sky will take Rickea Jackson, as she is a prototype off guard, small forward. At 6'2", she can shoot, handle the ball, post people up down low. She has it all, and really there's a lot of upside with her. So I think the top 3 picks are pretty much slotted in place. The big question is after that, it really depends on what a team needs and what they value. If the team needs a center or power forward, the choice is really just between 4 players. If a team wants to go with a safe pick, then they'll take Aaliyah Edwards, as she's the prototypical power forward, or they could go a center with Camilo Cardoso, as you know that she'll give you 10 to 15 minutes and use her size inside. If a team wants to try to get a superstar and take a chance, then obviously they're going to go with Angel Reese and hope that her shot develops, or Elisa Peely, and that her game translates to the next level, like her lack of height, if you like, and not many players of her shape have done it in the WNBA. If it does translate, then you have yourself a unicorn type player. Those 2 would be high risk, high reward, obviously. Now, the ESPN mock draft currently has Angel Reese at 7, going after Aaliyah Edwards and Camilo Cardoso, and then Elisa Peely being picked #9 by the Dallas Wings. But again, it's in the eye of the beholder. You can do mock drafts until the cows come home, but nobody knows, because nobody knows what these teams are thinking, and they generally lie through their teeth anyway to try to throw people off the scent. So what'll be will be on draft day. I think Angel Reese's first 2 years in the WNBA will be fascinating to see how well her game translates going against bigger players, as well if she truly develops an outside game and some of the guard skills that she had in high school, if they translate and she's able to tighten up her shot. If she does, sensational. If it doesn't, then she will essentially be a journeyman player. And I wonder if she's in for that WNBA life or if she will go more to the influencer life and say, there are better things to do with my time than be a WNBA bench player. It is clear that Angel Reese is a very polarizing player. Some love her, some hate her in terms of the fans and the public, but you can't deny she's clever and she's been smart. She reminds me of Deion Sanders when he was at Florida State and he took a limo to one of his games and just he was flashy and very polarizing for many people that hated Neon Deion. But my God, we were talking about a cornerback and nobody ever talked about a cornerback in much the same way with Angel Reese. As well, another similar trait between the two, Deion's teammates loved him. Like he was a hard worker, and I think much the same way with Angel Reese. I think her teammates, it's clear on the bench and things like that. She is a hard worker and she brings it every day and she does things that a teammate can't but love is she plays defense and she rebounds and she passes the ball. She doesn't take 1,000 shots. So obviously teammates are going to like her because she does the dirty work that teams need to get done. Now, the impact of her leaving on LSU, obviously it has a feel that the party is over to a certain extent. At the time of recording this, it's still unclear if Haley Van Lith is returning or not. I made the case last night, and the video's already outdated. Amazing. But Haley Van Lith, the best hope for her was Angel to return, run it back, and this team get redemption. Well, that's not going to happen now. But Haley Van Lith could still come back, and this team will be good. They have Anissa Morrow at power forward, Falaje Johnson at the guard, who grew by leaps and bounds, and Michaela Williams, who will have obviously a lot of growth from freshman to sophomore year. And then Samaya Smith will recover from her ACL injury, who will slot in potentially at center as well. They have Aaliyah Del Rosario. So they have players as well. If Haley Van Lith comes back, they'll have 4 roster spots. They can fill it in through the portal. There are players out there they could get potentially. But either way, this is going to be a solid, strong team. Now, the SEC is going to be better next year because Oklahoma and Texas are coming in, and Texas is getting they have a good recruiting class. Plus, Roy Harmon will be back from her knee injury as well. It'll be interesting to see how much all the fallout from this year affects how well LSU does in the transfer portal. And if Haley Van Lith does return, it'll be interesting to see what happens to her game next year. Does she flourish without Angel Reese being there and being forced to take on more of a role and a scoring responsibility with Angel now being no longer at LSU? Regardless of what she does, it's pretty clear that it won't be the same vibe at LSU. I don't know. I assume the PMAC will still have a good crowd, but they're not going to be rock stars. As Angel Reese just had that it factor that people wanted to see her. She was polarizing, but she was interesting, and that's why she was good for college basketball in LSU. And I got to tell you, I'm a bit disappointed that she's leaving. She was great for views and content, and she was fun to watch play. With her leaving, this LSU team will go down as one of the most overhyped, underperforming teams, as based on their regular season record and who they played, and then going out before the Final Four, I think it's fair to say they underachieved. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.